This is the report filter. It helps you zero in on exactly the data that you're looking for, and it works the same way across all reports in WATS. Only difference is that sometimes you'll find it in the top right corner, and the available filtering options may vary depending on the report that you're on. Every time you apply the filter in a report, WATS will store the filter option and continue to use them through the current session, making it easy to move around from report to report. To filter, you can make a selection or exclude a selection from the available list entries, type entries manually, copy and paste the selection by, for example, dragging across the selection and using Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V. And you can also use wildcards for advanced filtering. For example, including all entries that starts a certain way, entries within a specific range, or excluding entries that starts or ends a certain way. You can find a detailed description of the different wildcard options by searching wildcard in the search bar. And remember, wildcards can also be combined. So, now that we have applied our filter, we can also make alterations to the report grid in order to look at the data in specific ways. Currently, this report grid is looking at yield metrics and retests for various part numbers in a PCBA test. What I can do is first add any additional columns that I want, and the column options may vary slightly based on what data you're logging and depending on what report you're using. We're currently using dynamic yield, which has no limits on the columns, allowing us to create a yield report based on any parameter. Let's do station as an example. Now, the yield metrics are split by part number and stations used in the PCBA test. You can sort, rearrange, and group columns to analyze data in different ways. For example, grouping by part number and then comparing stations used by that part number and process. One final thing. To filter for and look at data by a particular MISC info, simply select it in the report filter and then add the two MISC columns to the report grid. That way, you'll see the MISC info description and the corresponding MISC info values.